Hello everybody, it's Michael from Replica Airguns with my chronograph test. So I'm going to split this up into two. I'm going to do the chronograph and the actual shooting test separately. Have my Colt single action historic revolver from Umarex, 4.5mm steel BB. You may notice there's a lot of noisy birds around me. It's hard to see. Well, I talked about it last time I did my outside shooting test. I've got a bird's nest right here. So right there, these guys are going to be dive bombing me. Hopefully I don't shoot any of these birds by accident. Here comes one. And they're not happy with me. Their little babies have hatched. So the robin's eggs have hatched. And they're starting to get feathers. But you know what? I was here before them. So they're just going to have to put up with me. And I'm just going to have to put up with them, I guess. So we're going to do the chronograph test. We're going to do a couple different things. The reason it's going to take a little longer is because I'm going to shoot using the standard shells. So let's get this off as safe. Half cock it. So I'm going to shoot basically using the standard shell, and I want to show you this. So here's the standard shell that comes with it, and here is a Dan Wesson shell, okay? But if you notice, they're identical in length, they're identical in width, they fit. The only difference is the Dan Wesson BB goes in the front, the Umarex Colt single action BB goes in the back. So we'll see if it makes a difference. So I'm going to be using basically the Dan Wesson shells for one string of 5. I'm going to be using some lead BBs as well for a string of 5. And so I'm going to basically be doing 3 tests with this. So 3 tests. And then at the end, just for fun, I'm going to bring in my little Colt single action, my Colt government A1, right? So this is the 1911 A1. Figure, you know what? We got the old school. And then this is, well, I wouldn't say this is new, but this sort of replaced the single action Army, and this was the next Army version. I believe it was the next one. There might have been something in between. But anyways, definitely the government 1911 A1 replaced the single action Army for sure. All right, so let's get on with this. Get the lights going. Okay, on, and let's get the chronograph reading. Make sure we're lined up in the camera here. Yeah, we're all good. All right, so let's see what kind of testing we can get. Hopefully I can get at least, getting a little dirty here. Got to polish this guy. Hopefully I can get, a good 4 or 5 rounds to read for me. Sometimes this chronograph acts up a little bit. So here we go. First shot. 403.5. 400.3. 398.0, staying pretty consistent. 393.2. 382.4 and 378.6. So we're going to load these up real quick here with some lead BBs. See what kind of velocities we get. Now, I don't really recommend you use lead BBs because they're a little bit larger in diameter. And if you're not using a brand new CO2, they can actually get stuck in the round. I did have one BB get stuck inside the round at the end. It didn't quite make it out. And that will happen because they're just a little bit bigger. If there's not enough CO2, you are going to potentially have the BB get stuck in there. So let's just turn this off and on. Okay. Make sure we're all focused. Good. Watch it, birdies. Here we go. See what kind of velocity we get. I'm going to say 300. That's my guess. 305.4. 256.2. Could be a little bind. Some of them might be larger than others. 238.1. 260.8. 286.0. 279.5. And that was it, out. Okay, so heavy, definitely a heavier. I would say the lead round balls are going to be more like a lead pellet. So they're going to be probably somewhere around 7 grain, maybe even 8 grain. Probably going to get some lead on me here. Whereas the steel BBs are 5.1 grain, so they're definitely lighter. All right, let's swap these rounds out. For the Dan Wesson style. See, they fit in here just fine. Alrighty, so we're all good here, good to go. Let's readjust this one more time. Okay, and let's see what kind of FPS we get with the Dan Wesson shells. You know, the thing is, there's less barrel length because they shoot from the front, so maybe it'll make a difference. Don't forget to, CO2 isn't quite as full at this point, so I'm expecting it to be a little under 400 anyways. Even with the actual real shells, they would drop a little bit by this point. All right. So yeah, 236.8, definitely lower. 275.0, 241, 247.1, 218, and 243.8. So they moved around. They weren't as consistent. They were definitely lower. So I would suggest, you know, not to use the Dan Wesson shells in this gun at all, because they just don't work as well. They're not designed for it. People were asking, so I thought I'd try it. Why not? So last but not least, we're going to put 6 rounds at least to the chronograph with the old 1911A1. See what kind of feet per second this guy has. Now keep in mind, this is blowback, right? So we're going to expect to have a lower FPS than the Revolver. 295.7, 298.8, 298.8, wow, 295, 285.1, we'll do one more. Oh, we got an error. You know what? Let's try one more. See if we can get 6, just so we can keep the totals the same. There we go. 6 shots, 282.5. All right, not too bad. So we're gonna basically, that's it for this test, for this chronograph test, right? We tried all the different rounds. Obviously, the Umarex shells work the best, right? The Dan Wesson or the ASG or the Dan Wesson wind gun shells don't work so well, but I guess in a pinch, if that's all you had, you could use them. But again, I would go for the actual Umarex shells, and they're pretty easy to load because you don't even have to take them out. You can load them from the back. You don't need to take the shells out with each round or reloading. So, you know, pretty cool. I would say, you know, it's going to be a pretty fun to go and test these guys. So make sure to watch my next video, which will be probably released within a day or so. And I'm going to be doing basically the same kind of test I just did right now, except for accuracy version. I'm going to be using some of the different rounds. I'm not going to use the Dan Wesson shells because we've established that they're just not really up to par. So I'll be shooting at the target with steel BBs, lead BBs, and then I'll just be using this guy to compare just for fun. All right, thanks for watching another Replica Airguns video. Don't forget to subscribe. Check me out on Facebook and Twitter. Username is Replica Airguns. Also come on down to replicaairguns.com where we have articles, post reviews, all kinds of information there and photos and things like that. And of course our Canada and US Replica Airgun stores. All right, thanks for watching. Until next time, take care.